Welcome to another episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. I'm your host, Omar Cumberbatch of OmarCumberbatch.com. So excited for you to join us today. We have an amazing guest in Dr. Irena O'Brien. She's just an amazing person, and I'm so happy to share her with you because she has a super interesting background, but she's going to help us get our clients unstuck by discussing neuroscience, right? So, as we know, we have best intentions for ourselves and our clients, and there's sometimes that we just get stuck. So the matter of getting to know the brain is very important when we move forward and try to get the results that we want, not only in our lives, but in the lives of our clients. So I'm really excited to share her with you. As always, please leave a rating and review on iTunes. It keeps me getting amazing guests just like Dr. O'Brien. So let's jump into the show.
Hey, Dr. Irena, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm doing well today. Thank you for inviting me, Omar.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, it's something that I think health coaches will benefit greatly from. We have an awesome show just about a lot of stuff that we are trying to understand a little better. And this is the brain and how we can get more better results for our clients. And yeah, you have an amazing background story, so definitely let you get into that. I'd love to hear your origin story and share that with the crowd. I also want to say that you're from my favorite city in the world. This is Montreal, Canada. We talked about a little in the green room about just the wonders of Montreal and how it was such an influence in me diving into the health space. But before we, dabble in that a little bit, I want to give the audience the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. So I just want to hear a little bit about your origin story, if you could share.
Okay. So I'm a neuroscientist now, but that wasn't my first career. In my first career, I was a CPA, right? Yeah, and I was a
Yeah.
tax accountant, and I did that for about 15 years.
Wow.
But after my third child was born, I didn't want to go back to accounting. It just wasn't fulfilling. And so I went back to school. I went back to university. I had to do another undergraduate degree. And I went back in psychology. And in my first semester back, I took a course on neurobiology and it blew my mind. I felt like my mind had been let out of a box. And I ended up going all the way to a PhD in neuropsychology, and I'm still just as in love with neuroscience as I was when I took my first course
Mm.
in neurobiology. Yeah.
That is an incredible jump from accounting to neuroscience. Um,
You know, it all depends, right? So I went into accounting because it was always drilled into us to safety and security
yeah.
was always drilled into us. And so accounting is a secure career, but this is what I meant to do.
Hmm. So what was it that you fell in love with initially about neuroscience?
That the learning was unlimited. Like I could just keep on learning forever, and I do. I still have my news feed. I read research studies every day. I like to write about neuroscience, and I like to transmit it to the learnings to students and in my writings because there's just so much to learn. People think it's so complicated, but it's really not that complicated. Yes, the research studies are, but once you extract the learnings from it, it's very illuminating and very doable.
So I think one of the things that's interesting about the field, and again, obviously you are the expert, but we do dabble in it. I topically do it. It's very, very popular. It's a hot topic. That's one of the reasons why I wanted you on the show to kind of discuss it as well. Is that we don't know, well, we know way more than I guess we've ever done, but it's almost like we don't know anything either, right? Is that an accurate statement?
It is, yeah, it is pretty accurate. We don't know everything, and we're learning more every day.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
And there have been, current models are very different from the models I had when I started
mhm.
in university or the second time in university. So the models are very different now. And, it is all about models because that's how science works, right? We have this model has been shown until a new model comes up. So right now, these are the models that we're using, and I can talk about those.
Yeah, well, let's hear. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think a good place to start is the purpose of the brain.
Hmm.
Most people think the purpose of the brain is thinking or feeling or decision making, but it's not. The brain's purpose is to keep us safe and alive. So that is the purpose of the brain to keep us safe and survival. And the brain is also a prediction machine. So the brain doesn't just react to what's happening around us, it predicts what it will need. Yeah. So it even predicts our reactions. So think about uh, that you're going for a walk in the woods and you think you might see a bear, right? But you're not sure. But so you don't want your brain to wait until it's absolutely sure to tell you to get the heck out of there,
Hmm.
right? It'll say, "Okay, get the heck out of there," because it's predicting that that's a bear. It might be wrong, but it'll keep you safe
Hmm.
and surviving.
Hmm.
And so the reactions are fast. It's what helps you have other fast reactions in other areas, like driving a car. Because imagine if the brain had to go through all the decision process before you could make the next move,
Right,
right?
right.
And so it's predicting that. And the same with in sports, where you have to be really fast, and in every other area of our life. So it makes the brain efficient. So whenever you have incoming stimuli, and the stimuli can be, from your own body, which is called interoception, or from external, which is called extraception, the brain kind of has a conversation with itself and asks, the last time I was in this situation, what did I do? Okay, we'll do it again. And so that's why habits are hard to change,
Hmm.
because your brain is going to keep predicting the same thing over and over again unless you start to change it. And if you don't challenge it, it could predict you right into a behavioral straitjacket.
Right, right. And of course, I guess that leads where we're trying to get a little better understanding because obviously, as health coaches, we want to get better results for our clients, and obviously, what you had just mentioned is very relevant. Changing behavior is very, very difficult.
Yes.
What would you think are some of the things that health coaches should be aware of that can actually help in behavior change?
It it really does go back to the purpose of the brain, which is safety and survival. And so the brain is constantly predicting, is managing energy and constantly predicting
Hmm.
how much energy you'll need and how much energy whatever you're trying to do will cost. And so once you start looking at behavior from that lens, it changes what you think about that behavior and how you approach that behavior. So a question to ask is, what's your brain protecting you from
Hmm.
if you can't change? Right? What's your brain protecting you from?
So that's an interesting dynamic, right? Because of course you mentioned the bear,
Yeah.
very obvious. Um, why is it that it protects us from things that are not threatening physically, right? So we definitely dive into a lot of stuff with food and the food idea, like and all the emotions that happen around food and protection is definitely an element of that too. There's a lot of people who that's why they call it comfort food. It's not like accident, right?
Right.
Why does it do that? Why does the brain do that?
So a lot of the eating is emotional eating.
Hmm.
Right. So sometimes it could be that the emotion is difficult to experience and it'll cost too much energy. And so rather than the brain deciding to expend energy on it, it will do something like have you eat something, do some comfort eating
Hmm.
instead.
And energy, when you say energy, it's not just like the energy that we imagine, right? So I always share with my audience, I have OCDs, right? So
Yeah.
I with the OCDs themselves, I know the energy that's exerted in actually performing the quote unquote rituals that I have to do to make myself feel like okay. Is that the energy you're talking about? Because obviously there's two different, the image of energy is like I could guess can vary, right? Can you get into that a little bit?
Well, there's really only one kind of energy,
Hmm.
and it's mitochondria.
Okay.
Right. So there is no such thing as like mindset energy or brain energy and physical energy. They are one and the same thing. So when it comes
Hmm.
to your OCD, so if you look at that from the perspective of the brain's purpose being safety and survival, your brain thinks that doing these repetitive things that you do is costing it less energy, right, than not doing them.
Hmm.
Because yeah, like, do you understand what I mean by that?
I,
Because they're obviously minimizing some kind of emotional. I don't know if it's an emotional, but it's minimizing some kind of effort in another area.
well, that's what I was trying to think of, right? So
Yeah,
like if I do it this way, no, how about this? If I don't do it this way, I'll have
yeah.
the anxiety emotions on the back end of it. That's the energy that you're referring to.
That's the energy, which is metabolically costly.
Oh, okay.
So for you, the brain says it is less energy demanding to do these repetitive actions than to deal with that anxiety in a different way.
Okay. So if we push it into the food category, and like again, it would be similar. Like if I eat this, I'll feel better and less energy is expended. Is that
Yes.
okay? So I get now. This is great. This is very fascinating because it definitely puts a spin on it. So I guess to correct this behavior, like there has to be something that in our brain that I guess disproves that reality because it's not real, right? Like what I mean. There is,
Yeah. It's not a
yeah,
physical threat.
correct. All right. So yeah, so yeah, I guess this is what obviously the first question that I was going to jump into. Well, not necessarily the first sentence, but this is the question I was dying to cover. Yeah, how do we do correct this? Like I know I've heard of things of neuroplasticity. Our brains do actually have the ability to change and all that good stuff. So, what are some tips that you would give to help coaches for us to I don't want to say sell, but to get our clients on a better path and change the behavior because obviously they're coming to us, hiring us for specific things that they can't get over.
Yes. So with regard to, I would imagine that most of it has to do with emotional eating.
Mm. Even
Right?
if they don't know it, yeah.
Even if they don't know it, it has to do with emotional eating. And so you really have to address that emotion,
Mm. And
right? And work through whatever it is.
and when you say work through, are there strategies specifically that you would recommend for anyone to kind of get that moving?
There are some. Let me go into coaching now. There are some theories in coaching. There's one that I really like, especially because it is science based.
Hmm.
And it's about getting in touch first with your ideal self. So, the ideal self is really who you want to become. And we all have that, right? We all have our bigger purpose, our vision, what kind of person we want to be. So when you get in touch with that, that creates positive energy,
Hmm.
right? It creates what we call a positive emotional attractor, so a cascade of positive emotions.
Hmm.
It activates the parasympathetic nervous system.
Hmm.
So you know about parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. Do
I
you want me
do,
to
but
explain that?
yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be great to explain just in case other folks
Yeah.
listening may not.
Okay. So the sympathetic nervous system is our stress response. It's our fight or flight response.
Hmm.
And the parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and digest or our relaxation response. And the ideal way to live really is and we can manage that through breath work. That's one of the most popular ways to manage it through breath work.
Hmm.
And the ideal is so when we breathe in, we're activating that stress response. And when we breathe out, we're activating the relaxation response. And so you should breathe. The ideal way to breathe is in a way that the out breath is at least as long as the in breath. There are many models of breathing, but in a nutshell, our out breath should be at least as long as our in breath. And when we do that, we're balancing out the stress response with the relaxation response.
Hmm.
So when you're activating your ideal self or the kind of person that you want to become, you're also activating the parasympathetic nervous system. And the thing also, when you're in the parasympathetic nervous system, that creates energy.
Hmm.
Whereas in the sympathetic nervous system, that consumes energy. So when you can activate the ideal self, you're creating energy to then do the work,
Hmm.
right? To start, yeah, to then do the work. And so that's a fantastic way to start every coaching session is what kind of person do you want to become? Who do you want to become? And
Hmm.
really have them get in touch with that.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess that's a great way to frame it because, obviously they're coming to us to solve something. And I don't know if, in my experience, a lot of folks necessarily go through that exercise, at least that, because, like, so I do a lot of weight loss coaching, right?
Yeah,
And one of the things that, they say, oh, I want to lose 15 pounds, or I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to lose 50 pounds. And that's the goal, right? And I don't know if I definitely would like to incorporate that aspect of it because, they'll just come up with a number. They not necessarily are addressing the person that they want to become after that 15, 20, 50, whatever pounds that they actually lose. It's more just like an isolated number that has to do with the scale. So it's really like, I guess, limited. I never thought about it like that, so I appreciate that you kind of said it that way because I think that's an interesting reframe.
we could try it now if you'd
Okay.
like.
Yeah.
So who would if you'd like to share who you'd like to become, I mean share it, but if not, that's okay too. Just activate, think about the kind of person that you want to become, the kind of person that you want to be for yourself, for your family, for your kids.
Yeah, I'll definitely do the exercise. But here's an interesting thing. I think because I've never thought about it in that way,
Yeah,
like that image necessarily.
yeah,
Like I said, I have goals, but
yeah,
I've never put the goals into like this human uh, avatar, right? Which
yeah.
um let me think about that. That's because I want to do the exercise for the audience, oh man. Okay, I want to be the $1 million health coach. That's who I want to be.
That's who you want to be. Okay, what would
Yeah.
that give you if when you're the $1 million health coach?
Freedom, influence, hoping peace. Um, yeah, let's start with that.
Yeah. So how does that feel in your body?
Great.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
feels fantastic.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so you're in the parasympathetic nervous system, right? You're activating these positive emotions.
Hmm.
And so then you're creating that energy to be able to make a plan and do the work. And so then when you start thinking after that, okay, what's one step that would bring me closer to that?
Hmm.
And for you or for your client, it might be that they want to lose some weight because they just want to be that better person for their family and for their children.
Hmm.
And so that consumes some energy, but now you have energy,
Hmm.
right? So when you think about, so what is a step that you think about that could get you to, or could start getting you to that ideal self? One step.
Um, well, I'll give a step that I guess I've been avoiding is just being more out there on, say, social media.
Yeah. And so how does that feel in your body?
Being out on social media,
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. You see, so that is the difference. That consumes the energy.
Hmm.
So that's why activating your ideal self, a lot of people do call it vision. It's really, we all want to become something, right?
Hmm.
Because that's how life is. We're not, we haven't reached our pinnacle.
Right, right,
We
right.
want to always become something. Yeah, and that gives you the energy to be able to do the work. And it activates different brain systems too.
It's fascinating that the way that you simplified it is really, really cool. I've never thought about it like that, and it's simple, right? It makes a lot of sense. I guess one of the things that will always have difficulty is, I guess, people looking for more complicated answers and like things. So for instance, say the social media thing.
Yeah,
Um, or let's go to the person who wants to lose the weight. They are also looking for, because there's an element to that too, right? Where there could be an emotional tie to it, and their next steps may not be in line with what actually will get them results because they have another obstacle beyond that to
yes,
deal with.
yes. And so it is important to look at that other obstacle also.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So you're just kind of it- yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a, it could be layered. It could be a lot of different things because actually, like when you get to the one obstacle, then you kind I don't say climb that mountain, but there's definitely something else there.
yeah. And another way to put it is capacity,
Uh-huh.
right? Energetic capacity. Sometimes we just don't have that energetic capacity and we have to build it, right? The ideal self,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your vision, that'll build that capacity. And then, but I mean, these are things you know about, right? Also about diet, exercise, and sleep,
Mm-hmm.
right? And good sleep will restore capacity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting that, like I said, from an energy perspective, like because I didn't realize that the consequences of our actions or inactions causes an energy uh, misalignment with the brain that's causing us to do all these things.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because I guess theoretically, we would want to just sit around and do nothing and be safe, right? So if we have any vision, we wouldn't. It's like it's almost counterintuitive to the brain.
It seems counterintuitive to the brain, but the brain really doesn't care about your goals,
Right, that's what I mean.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just cares about keeping you alive and safe. And that's all about energy, right? Because we're energy beings and our energy constantly fluctuates. And if we run out of energy, in the end we die.
Hmm.
So it is about maintaining capacity and energy. And the other thing too is small steps,
Hmm.
like tiny steps,
Hmm.
because because your predictive brain is going to fight change, right? Because it wants to keep doing the same thing over and over again because it's energetically inexpensive to keep doing the same things over and over again. And so to change it requires more energy. So
Hmm.
if you take small steps, It can, if you take small steps, you're only pushing the envelope a little bit at a time.
That's
Not
fascinating.
something that's going to freak you out and have the brain say, stop, no, we can't do this at all.
So I guess that's why like exposure therapy and like you said, it's things that you're just putting very small minimal steps towards gets your brain to stretch a little bit, I guess, and then
Yes.
okay, all right, no, that's it's fascinating to think of it like that. It really is. It's definitely an
Yeah.
interesting component.
And the beauty of it is that your brain is built on past experience. So everything that you've experienced is in your brain. That's what's building, and your brain is constantly being built, but based on your experience. So when you start pushing the envelope just a little bit, you're starting to change your brain. You're starting to change its predictions,
Mm-hmm.
right? Eventually, right? Not on one try, but eventually you're starting to create new pathways and start to change its predictions.
Okay. So I have a super selfish question. I'm wondering if I just should do it off air because it's it's fascinating. I don't want to, well, you know what? I'll throw it out there. It's not, I shouldn't even say it's selfish. It's just curiosity because again, there's so many different interesting things about the brain now. Do you think the brain is, or in your research, is where thoughts are actually held, or is it more of a receiver or transmitter? I know that's
Yeah,
there's a lot of things.
I'm I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go into that.
No?
It's beyond, I know that there's a lot of research, there's a lot of thought about that. Yeah. It's not settled, right? It's not settled in the way that our brain being a prediction machine is more settled, right?
But I guess that's it. I'm very curious about your hesitancy about it because I'm sure that you have like an opinion. So it's I guess why can't the brain be multiple things? Like in that concept, right? Like you definitely it's solidified as a a prediction model, right?
Yeah.
But there is also some thought that like, why couldn't it be some and have other characteristics, even though unsettled?
I know, but it's not my area. Have you read Dan Brown's new book?
No, I haven't. Yeah, I got to check that out.
Yeah, I can't obviously the name escapes me, but I have been reading that book, and it is about noetics and about the brain being a receiver.
Really?
Yeah, but the brain being a receiver. So that's pretty much as far as I know. I'm agnostic about that, meaning that it could be, but I don't know.
Huh. I got you. I used to be a big fan of Dan Brown's, obviously with the Da Vinci Code stuff and all that. I used to read a
The
lot of his
Secret of
books.
Secrets. It's called The Secret of Secrets.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's just as good as his other books.
I'm gonna get it. Yeah, absolutely. I love that how he's like a good writer when it comes to that kind of stuff. I usually don't read fiction books. Like I like to watch fiction stuff. Like but reading I really don't. But Dan Brown was one of those types of books that kind of mended those two together. So I'm gonna get it. Thanks for that recommendation.
Yeah, so I think you'll find things in there that, yeah, that will speak to what you're asking.
Okay.
And yes, I mean there are philosophers, and I know there's lots of writing, but my focus really is on making brain science practical, right? So that people can change their lives in the way that they want, in a positive way.
Right, right.
And so one of the things to really that I really focus on is about encouraging or trying to live more in a parasympathetic dominant state.
Okay.
Most of us are living in a sympathetic dominant state. and that is energy demanding.
Hmm.
So most of us are at are at rock bottom when it comes to energy.
Hmm.
And so to live in a parasympathetic state, and our psychology affects our mitochondria function.
Hmm.
That is shown now.
Hmm.
Um, and so to live, so what I mean by that is about finding ways to relax the nervous system, but not in a way like in a truly generative way, right?
Hmm.
To resource ourselves, and we should always be thinking about that to
Hmm.
really resource ourselves and create the energy that we need. And what you'll find is that then all of the things that we struggle with become easier when
Hmm.
we have the energy, right? Because the brain is constantly determining, managing our energy needs and predicting our energy needs. So if you can help the brain manage its energy needs ahead of time, it's going to make better predictions for you.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, there are many ways that people use. A meditation is one if that works for you. Deep sleep at night is huge.
Hmm.
There's no way around that. Deep sleep at night, exercise also,
Hmm.
without going overboard on the exercise,
Hmm.
right? But just enough exercise without being extreme. Of course, diet is, if you're eating a junk food diet, it is going to affect your energy.
Hmm.
But you and your coaches are working with the diet part of it,
Hmm.
right? Other things, I like music. I use music a lot.
Hmm.
And the music should be have a rhythm to it, have a beat to it,
Hmm.
because the brain entrains to the beat.
Hmm.
And the brain likes certainty,
Hmm.
and a regular beat is certainty, creates certainty for the brain.
Hmm.
So that can be restorative.
Okay.
There are other things. Let me think about some of the other things. I use primarily breathing, sleep, and music. So any joyful activities, time with family and friends, all of those things.
Hmm.
Also, all of those are restorative to the brain
So yeah,
and the
so
body. Like, because there is no difference between the brain and the body. We're
mhm.
a mind-body system.
Right, right, right. So I guess what you're explaining too is like the stress response has to be regulated as well, just in general, like you should less stress in your life, whatever that looks
Yes,
like. Okay.
yes. Mitigate the stress, right? Resource yourself
Yeah.
from the stress, and so then change that you want becomes easier.
Right, right, right. Okay, so as far as those are definitely things. Are there any neuro, I guess to get to end, is there anything that are considered like neural hacks that are out there that a lot of because I do come across different quote unquote hacks. Everyone loves hacks, right? So, do you have any that you would recommend, or you think it's not something that is actually relevant in this field?
I don't tend to focus on neurohacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than yeah, my focus is yeah, on the predictive brain. The brain is built for survival and safety, and we need to look at everything through that lens and through energetic capacity. So willpower, for example. If you're having trouble with willpower, it's more likely a energetic capacity issue that your brain, you just don't have the energy for that, and your brain has determined you don't have the energy for that.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, this is a fascinating
And small
conversation.
steps, right? Tiny
Yeah.
steps. If any hack, that would be the hack is tiny steps. People like big change,
Yeah.
but that doesn't. But right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't change comes in tiny steps.
Yeah, sustainable change for sure. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. Yeah, this is fascinating. I love the topic, and I think that the health coach is going to get a lot out of this episode. So I know that you were gonna give us a gift, a parting gift today, which we really appreciate. So I definitely gonna give you an opportunity to break that out on us, and I also want to give you a chance to share all your social media handles, your website, any way that we can keep in contact with you, and all the great stuff that you're doing.
Okay. Wonderful. Yes, Omar, I have put something together for your audience, and it's called the Applied Neuroscience Starter Kit.
All right, nice.
And it's for anyone whose work involves helping people change, right? Such coaches, therapists, and practitioners. And anyone who wants to bring real science into the way they do that. And here's what most of us were never taught. We were never taught the neuroscience. We learned frameworks and we learned questions to ask, but nobody explained what the brain is actually doing when
Hmm.
someone tries to change. And that's not your fault. It simply wasn't in the training.
Hmm.
So here's what this is about. So the first piece is the neuroscience of why clients get stuck. And it gives you 10 insights into what's actually happening when someone understands what they need to do but can't seem to do it, such as why willpower fails, why insight isn't enough, and what the nervous system needs instead.
Hmm.
And each one comes with something you can use in your next session. And the second piece is the brain-based change blueprint that shows you the three conditions that have to be present before change becomes possible: safety, capacity, and small repeated steps. And we talked about that today.
Hmm.
So it's the same framework I've taught to over 700 practitioners over the past decade. So if you work with people who keep falling back into old patterns, this will show you why and what to do about it. So just go to loveneuroscience.com/academy and you'll get both pieces immediately. So that's loveneuroscience.com/academy.
Oh wow, appreciate that. And so, how can we keep up with you with all the stuff that?
You can find me at neuroscienceschool.com. That's my website. I have a podcast, Neuroscience of Coaching,
Okay,
which is in the top 5% of
awesome.
podcasts. Yeah. And I'm on LinkedIn at Irena O'Brien, IrenaObrien.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for popping up on this early morning today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Omar.
Appreciate you.
Hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. If you did, jump over to iTunes and leave a rating and or review. It goes a long way in helping get this message out to our fellow health coaches and people in our industry. Also, if you can, jump over to my website, omarcumberbatch.com, where I give out a lot of freebies, including my 5-day sugar challenge for people who are having issues with sugar. And also for health coaches, I have the book, Hidden. It's the 6 not so obvious ways to get your clients unstuck. Have a great day.